How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech and also to my review of the AverMedia AM310 USB condenser microphone, which was provided by Sonic Informed. Now currently this entire review is going to be recorded on the AM310, so this is what its audio sounds like. Now, I've no effects applied, no editing or anything done yet to the microphone. I will add that later on so you guys can hear the true potential of the mic. And also, my room doesn't really have any like acoustic treatment going on with foam panels or anything like that. So it might be more what your room would sound like with some more reverberation going on with the echoes and so on. So yeah, that is going to be what it most likely will sound like in your room. But now, starting off with the pricing for the AM310, it is retailing for around 2,000 Rand here in South Africa, or $70 on Amazon, which does put it more into the more affordable range of USB condenser microphones. As for build quality, the mic does feel very sturdy with its large metal capsule and the aluminum dial knob at the front. It just has this silver ring around the capsule that's plastic, but otherwise that's pretty much the only thing. The 310 is also relatively light, weighing in at just under 500 grams. So if you wanted to mount it onto a boom arm or any other mounting bracket, it shouldn't really be a problem. As for the front dial, it does allow you to adjust the output, and then also when pressing it in, it'll only mute the mic itself, so nobody will be able to hear what you're saying, but you'll still be able to hear everything else. Then moving to the back of the mic, firstly you get your headphone port, which allows you to connect a headphone to and monitor either the mic or your PC with all of the audio coming through that. That works with the live monitor and a PC switch, which, like the live monitor name implies, it allows you to directly monitor the audio coming from the mic and not from anything else. So you'll be able to listen to what your voice sounds like directly. You can move your mic further away, get your precise voice that you want, volume-wise and everything, and then later on you can switch to the PC side, which will allow you to hear everything that comes from your PC. So that is a nice feature to have, switching between those two. However, when in a live monitoring mode, the front dial doesn't really do that much. It doesn't lower the sensitivity of the mic, so the gain or anything like that. You'll be only able to hear like the full loudness of the microphone. Only when getting into the PC mode, there you'll be able to adjust the output of the microphone. It's not that big of a problem, but it would have been nice if you did have like a gain control knob on the mic itself and be able to adjust it there. It's just a bit easier. Now moving to the cable, again this is a USB microphone, so the included USB cable is around 3 meters long with a USB 2.0 type B connection at the one end that goes into the microphone, and then just a standard type A port on the other side that connects into your computer. Now, just before we get into the sound quality, you do also get this small mic stand included, which isn't the greatest, but it's good enough. It will prevent the mic from falling over with small bumps with the heavier metal base, and then also allows you to angle the mic a bit better, closer or further away from your mouth. But it does feel a bit more on the cheaper side, and I would recommend that you get something a bit better, a different mic stand, just because most of the included mic stands with other mics also, they are a bit limited, basic, good enough, but yeah, it's not the best always. But of course, for most streamers, this mic stand will be enough. It's just if you want to have a bit more control, like a mic boom arm will be a lot more handy, or just another like bigger mic stand. The only downside is really that the mic's mounting bracket is mostly plastic, and it does look to be proprietary, so if it breaks, it might be hard to get a replacement if you can get one. So make sure that you take care of the mounting bracket, because otherwise it might be a bit hard to actually mount the mic. Now finally getting into the sound quality, the 310 has a cardioid pickup pattern which picks up most of the sound to the front, some of it on the sides and a little at the back. Specs wise, it does have a sample rate of 48 kilohertz, a 16-bit bitrate, and a frequency response of 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Now that all of that is out of the way, let's get into how this mic actually sounds, and comparing it to some of the other mics. We're also going to do some mechanical keyboard tests, see how that performs, and just a few others. But firstly, the mic comparison. So unfortunately, the only other two microphones that I personally own is the Audio-Technica AT2035 XLR condenser microphone and my Zoom H6 with its XY mic capsule connected to the top. This one is like a portable audio interface field recorder, which is awesome. I use it for all of my recordings, but both of these are quite a bit more expensive. This one especially because it's like the entire unit. This one because the mic on its own is quite expensive, and then you still need to get a audio interface to power it or to connect to. So this is why the AverMedia is, it's not really the most fair comparison, because this one's most likely like more than half of these ones' price, much more than this one. But these are the two that I have, and now let's quickly hear how they actually sound. So firstly, the Audio-Technica AT2035. Again, this one might sound actually the best because it is a full-on condenser microphone. It is XLR, so you will be able to get a bit more quality out of it. But now I'm moving to the Zoom H6 with its XY mic capsule. This one again is a portable field recorder. It's like an audio interface and condenser microphone all in one, which is really awesome. But again, it is quite expensive. But now let's move back to the AM310, which again is most likely much more than a half the price between these ones. It's also USB, so it's just much easier to use compared to these ones, which you need to buy additional stuff, or it's just quite expensive on its own firstly. Now with the mic comparison out of the way, let's get into some more real world taste and see if the mic experiences any clipping, distortion, and just check the noise levels. Now firstly, let's quickly just stay silent so you guys can hear the noise floor. There's nothing really going on in my room. PCs are quite quiet. You might be able to hear some like car sounds or bike sounds outside, which the row is pretty close. So yeah, let's quickly stay silent. Okay, so that was it for the silences, so you guys can just hear how it will sound. Now, of course, you can apply effects later on to reduce that even more, but this was directly from the mic. Then next up, let's get into a distance test where I move the mic further away or closer to my mouth to hear if there's any distortion or just how it'll pick up my voice. First up, just pretty much standard again, pretty close to my mouth, most likely where you would actually use it. Now let's move a bit closer, so most likely it's clipping now because it is quite a bit a hot microphone, so you might want to lower the mic sensitivity a bit in Windows or in your software. So yeah, it's most likely clipping now. Now let's move it further away, so it's quite a distance away. I'm not sure how it sounds. It should be still able to pick up, but it's not going to be as clear again, because now it might also pick up more reverberation going on in the room, because I don't have any acoustic treatment or anything like that. But it should still sound pretty good. Then for our next test, we have the iconic mechanical keyboard test. So this is using blue switches, which is going to be allowed, and I'm putting it just kind of behind the microphone now, and the microphone is still on its same position. It is going to pick up the blue keys quite heavily, and it's most likely going to overpower it. I would never really recommend using blue switches if you are going to stream, but this is just how it might actually sound when using. Then next up, let's go into Streamlabs and apply some effects to hear what it might actually sound when using it in stream, because you're most likely going to apply some effects to reduce noise and just to improve on your voice a bit. So in Streamlabs, just some of the effects that I applied. Firstly, I applied a limiter, which to a -6 dBs. It's just going to prevent the microphone from clipping, even though if you are speaking really loud into the microphone. So that is firstly. Next, we have a noise gate. So applying the noise gate is just going to reduce some of the background noise. Same with noise suppression. It's just going to enhance to reduce a lot more of the background noise. So if I stay quiet now, I'm most likely not going to hear anything. So there we go. Even if I talk really quiet, the noise gate will most likely kick in and cancel out some. You'll want to play around with it and see what sounds best to you, but that is what you'll be able to get. So next, let's quickly do the keyboard test again. So sometimes it doesn't even register, sometimes it does. Depends on your noise gate and your noise suppression. But of course, once you talk, it is going to pick that up. And yeah, I never really recommend using a mechanical blue switch if you're streaming. Rather membrane or like MX Silence or anything like that. So then for my final thoughts on the AverMedia AM310, it is definitely one of the better and more affordable USB condenser microphones on the market. Again, there are other microphones that you can get. Unfortunately, I don't have any of them again to compare it to, but from what I've seen, what I've heard, this one is definitely a really good option to go for, especially if you do live here in South Africa, because we don't have a crazy amount of more affordable, good USB condenser microphones. So because of all of that, I will be using the AM310 for some of my live streams, just because how easy it is. I don't have to worry about connecting everything, cables and cables and cables. It just uses the USB connection, and that is all. It's really simple, especially because I don't have a dedicated streaming setup. I kind of have to disconnect and connect everything again, and it's a pain and a hassle. So this is going to make it a lot easier. Just the two things that I think AverMedia can add for the next model to make it just a bit better is to apply a gain adjustment knob or just a switch somewhere, either again at the knob or just a -10 dB switch. That will be really awesome. And then finally, it doesn't come with a shock mount. So if you do like bump the table or anything like that, it is going to rattle a bit and it's going to absorb all of that shocks, and you'll be able to hear that. So to have like some sort of a shock mount will be nice. Again, my Audio-Technica AT2035 does come with one. It just helps to absorb that shocks a bit better. So just to have something like that, I don't think it's that crazy expensive anyway. So it's just because of the mounting unit and everything, it might be a bit hard to get a different one that fits this mic. So to have an included one will be really cool. But yeah, other than those two things, really, I kind of really like the microphone. And I will be using it a bit more often. But anyway, that is pretty much it for my review of this AverMedia AM310 condenser USB microphone. Big thanks to Sonic Inform for sending this one over for review. If you guys want to get one for yourself, I will leave links in the video description. If you do live here in South Africa, link that, and also on Amazon. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I will check all of you next time. Cheers, guys.